On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning, Kevin Durant. You should have never left California.
This Brownsexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised that the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no! Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Well, yes, we are for real. Welcome to another installment of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am one half of that duo, Cole Johnson. And from all of us to all of you, I hope your new year was absolutely spectacular. And we hope your new year to come will be even more spectacular than how January 1st looked for all of you. All right, joining us later on in this hour will be, of course, Garfield McCarthy, as we have Ryan McCarthy joining us. And, of course, we'll be dispensing about the Jets as they were eliminated from the playoffs. Later in hour number 2, we will talk to Jay Spivey of Spivey Notes, and we'll talk about how the Panthers were summarily dismissed in the playoffs as well yesterday, and a whole lot more. Hopefully my partner will join me, and I'll probably be joined by the Playmaker at some point in time. But let's wing today's whip around, shall we? All right, we're going to start with the Commanders. And I know this will not please old Hawk TV, but the Commanders came in holding the 7th seed. All they had to do was just win out, beat the Browns, and then beat the Cowboys. Both games are at home, and they'd be in playoffs. Well, they couldn't do that. So they decided to switch quarterbacks. Taylor Heineke, goodbye. Carson Wentz, hello. And with the 24-10 butt whooping they took at home to the Browns, coupled with the butt whooping that took place in Lambeau, as the Packers knocked the Vikings off the number 2 seed line, but now they're the number 3 seed, and we'll talk about that a little later. The Commanders are saying bye-bye, as now they are eliminated from the playoffs. It's unfortunate, but hopefully they will learn that Carson Wentz is not your man. Never has been, and he never will be. Now, anybody that is watching, anybody that's listening to me, and anybody in the Fanatic Feedback Zone, please tell me what took place in Foxborough. Now, I saw a team that decided to act an absolute fool in giving a game away in Las Vegas. And then they followed that up the very next week by spotting the Bengals a 22-point deficit and having the ball first and goal inside the Bengals 10 when the score was now whittled down to 22-18, only for them to go. And you mean to tell me, even with Teddy Bridgewater and the third string QB at behind center, that you couldn't put away the Patriots? Now, yes, the defense did a decent job. They only allowed 16 points. Yes, I know the Patriots scored 23. That's because the Patriots yet again scored another pick six. And so with the 23-21 victory, it almost knocked the Dolphins completely out the playoffs, but they still have hope. And we'll talk a little bit about that a little later. But now the Patriots are ensconced in the 7th seed position. Now all they have to do is win their game. I will talk about what game they have to win and where they have to go to get it later on. And then there is the Philadelphia Eagles. What in the world was that? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Eagles fan. I actually talked with one of you, and you thought after the Cowboys L when I was saying to you, when you give up that 3rd and 30 and Dak threw it for 53 yards to T.Y. Hilton, that was a sign right there of there's problems. There's absolute problems with the secondary. And you wasted a wonderful effort by the defensive line because they were getting after the quarterback. 8 days later, we are seeing the same thing. We saw the defensive line put Andy Dalton on the turf and sometimes Taysom Hill on the turf multiple times, only for them to give up big plays in the secondary. Oh, but I understand why you weren't concerned. It's because Gardner Minshew threw for over 30 yards against the Cowboys. Well, what happens when he can't put up 27 points against a team, but he puts up 10 against a much more inferior opponent? Oh, no, by the way, he throws a pick 6 in the 4th quarter. Now I know you're concerned. And that's why with a 20 to 10 loss to the Saints, who of course got eliminated from the playoffs because the Bucks beat the Panthers, and I will talk about that, of course, in hour number 2. That is why I said there was cause for concern, because when you have that issue and you have that worry, then you have to shore everything up. And you can't just say, well, they're not playing all that well because, well, Jalen Hurts is now on the sideline and Gardner Minshew is a step down. Okay, well, that's fine. That explains quarterback. What about the other 21 positions is on the field? Normally, when you have a backup that's starting, just look what the 49ers are doing. The other 21 raise their level up and say, okay, we got you. And they step up and they play at a higher level because they know it is not the normal outfit that is coming to play. So when you have that issue, that's what transpires when the rest of the team does not raise up their level. And now you have a situation at the top of the food chain in the NFC. And of course, I already mentioned the Vikings butt whooping they took in Lambeau. And so now you have the Eagles 13-3. You have the Vikings 12-4. You have the 49ers 12-4. And now you have the Cowboys at 12-4. All right, let me break down the number 1 seed as how it would go. All right, so the Eagles control their own destiny. What they have to do is they have to beat the Giants at home Sunday. I think it's Sunday. And they will clinch the NFC East, the number 1 seed in the bye. Now, should they lose and the Cowboys, the Vikings, and the 49ers win, the Vikings would not get the number 1 seed. The Cowboys would not get the number 1 seed. No. It would be the 49ers. And why? Because they would have amassed 11, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, 10, I'm sorry. They would have amassed 10 NFC victories. No other team has 9. So they would hold the tiebreaker against everybody, and they would leapfrog all of them. They would get the number 1 seed in the bye. So if the Eagles were to lose, then other teams have to cross their fingers. Now, if the 49ers would lose to the Cardinals, that's not happening. But if they do lose and the Eagles lose, then if the Cowboys win and the Vikings win, then that means the Cowboys win the NFC East and they'll have number 1 seed due to the 43 butt whooping that they gave the Vikings in US Bank Stadium, which means the Vikings would have to hope all the other 3 teams lose and for them to go to Soldier Field and win, for them to get the number 1 seed. Doesn't look good, does it? Ouch. And then there's tonight's game. The Bills travel to Cincy and they play the Bengals. Now, there is a small scintilla of hope for the Bengals to get the number 1 seed. More than likely, it will not be, simply because the Chiefs, they took care of business beating the Broncos at home, although it was a weak game for the Chiefs, 27-24. But they are notched at 13-3, which puts the pressure on the Bills to match it. Now, the Bills, if they were to hold the same record as the Chiefs, hold the tiebreaker because in October they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So if the Chiefs are 13-3, the Bills have to match that tonight, so they have to beat the Bengals. If they don't, then it sets a scenario for the Chiefs where all they do is go to Vegas and win. They clinch the number 1 seed. They are the AFC West champs. Now, the Bills, who are the AFC East champs, all they have to do is beat the Bengals and the Patriots. Of course, they go home to play the Patriots. They do that, they clinch home field all throughout. They lose one of those 2 games, the Chiefs have a chance. Now, if one of those 2 games they lose happens to be the Bengals, and the Bengals win out, the Bengals will have the number 1 seed. Simply because they would have beaten both the Chiefs and the Bills. Well, that takes care of today's Whip Around. And before I go to the Fanatic Feedback Zone, let me introduce to you the man who is the hardest working content creator I know. That is Darnell Solins, a.k.a. The Playmaker.
Happy New Year. Good morning.
Happy New Year and a good morning to you, sir. All right, let us get to the chat, shall we? And Mr. Dietz was on board real early. He says, good morning and Happy New Year to the crew in the chat. A new year means more domination of the sports talk landscape. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Chris.
And
yes.
Says based on the...
Yes. I don't know what happened yesterday at Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah, I agree. And Dietz says, based on the last 2 weeks, Jalen Hurts is the clear MVP. I agree. And of course, he won't get the award. But yes, to me, the Eagles go as Jalen Hurts does. There's not any question about that. Sig Diggy joined us all over Norway. He says, good morning and Happy New Year to you. I hope everything's good with you, man. And he says the same thing to Dietz. And Dietz returns the favor. Hopes you have a great New Year, he says. Six says, man, it never gets old hearing Bill O'Reilly going off like a high-strung, middle-aged divorced dad losing touch of reality. Yeah, it doesn't. And yeah, good morning and Happy New Year to you too, Sick. I hope everything's good with you there, man. A Pizzle, he says, good morning and Happy New Year.
And where's that man at? Because we got some stuff to talk about with his team.
Happy New Year. Well, that will be coming later on in the hour. Happy New Year to you, Pizzle. Hey, Pizzle. I hope yours went better than how the Dolphins played yesterday in Foxborough. Dietz says the Dolphins had to go to their third string QB. That says it all. Yes, it does. And he goes on to say third string QBs aren't going to be Bill Belichick. Well, they're starters that have trouble beating them. So yeah, you got a point. But still, in my opinion, that's the defensive side of the ball. You got Matt Patricia holding the play sheet to call offensive plays. The dude needed to call a tip drill just to have a 50-yard touchdown be executed. A doggone tip drill. Six says, yeah, they must have been choking on the fishbone. Yeah. Jonathan Mathis, what's up, man? I hope everything's good with you.
Sports judge.
The sports judge is in the house. I hope everything's good with you, man. Happy New Year to you, brother. Happy New Year to you, man. Six says, seems like a few of these teams are those premature New Year's Eve hangovers. You can't drop the ball like Dick Clark at Times Square. Yeah, you can't. Clarence Nixon, big time Bengals fan. He says, what's up? My guy Cole, my guy Clarence. I hope everything's good with you.
Clarence.
I know tonight you are licking your chops. You're hoping that your Bengals just give the Bills the business. I think it's going to be happening. And he says, the judge says, playmaker in the house. That's right, sir. That's right. That's right. Family affair, baby. Six says, Happy New Year to the Playmaker Sport Blog Network, which, of course, that is the home of the Playmaker. All things Playmaker. Six says, is it wrong to describe this playoff scene as a complete slop trough? No. It's
And
not.
the NFL
And
got
I-
it wrong already. The NFL got it wrong already.
And I will describe. I know I'll not describe, but I will break down a little more detail how that is a correct statement that you just said, sick, and we'll go further into what Playmaker said too when we get back. You're watching, you're listening, and you were tuned into Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I'm being joined by the Playmaker, y'all. Be right back.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. Four men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Doc, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high-potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus. Smarter than energy.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and order yours today.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
'Cause we take this job so serious.
I'm sorry, I did that all wrong. I did that all wrong. My bad.
Do it right, will you?
Oh, God. Brother guest, I'm so glad, Ryan, that you here on Coffee with McCarthy. I love you.
Oh, Lord, you beat me to it.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Glad that you're all aboard. See you on Facebook, see you on LinkedIn, see you on YouTube, see you on the BS3 Network, on Roku TV. Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am one half of that team, Cole Johnson, joined by the Playmaker. And this is, of course, the first show of the 2023 season of Snowman and Morning with Cole Johnson. Back to the Fanatic Feedback Zone we go. And Deet says, by the way, production update. Wednesday would be a totally Deet's takeover of the morning show for reasons to be revealed for a later date. But if you know the Totally Deets intro and the opening clip, you can figure out why Wednesday is a special day. Yeah. A Pistol says, ooh, new ads. And Sig Dicky smiling. Let's see, we treat you all wonderful because we love you all, the Fanatic Feedback Zone. All right, Playmaker, I will open up the floor to you. You know, before our break, you said that the NFL already got it wrong. Now, we haven't even played the Monday Night Football game to Week 17 yet. So why do you say that the NFL got it wrong? And I think I have an understanding as to why, but I'd like to hear from you.
We already know what is the ESPN game for Saturday.
Yeah. And
that game should be the Sunday night game.
Agreed. Why they put that game for Saturday night and the game that he's alluding to, the Titans and the Jaguars for the AFC South title will be Saturday night. And that is, well, I'm thinking the reason, the rationale is
there's no reason.
If all things break, no, there's a little bit. It isn't a straight up it isn't a 100% win or go home, loser goes home. I mean, win or go home type of game. Winner gets the title, loser goes home. It's not a 100% type of game now because you got so many teams 8-8, and the Jaguars actually hold tiebreakers over the Patriots and the Dolphins. So that beats the Jaguars. If all those teams will end up being 8-9, the Jaguars could lose the game and still make the playoffs. How ridiculous is that?
Still, though, we can blame one team and one quarterback for this whole situation because y'all didn't do what y'all said y'all was gonna do, and you had the moment to do it, but you let that damn quarterback win again, which is the reason why before they even said, I already knew what's gonna be the Sunday night game. I already know.
Now, you predicted that if it wasn't going to be Titans-Jaguars, it was going to be the Lions-Packers. Do you think that's going to be the game?
That's the game.
That's what I thought.
That's the game.
But how? Well, here's the problem, though. How could it be the game, considering that that's not a fully winner go home type of game either? Because the way this breaks down.
One is Aaron Rodgers, and two is at Lambeau Field.
The
old man came back from the dead. Green Bay was
number one. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Green Bay was dead, and they risen from the dead. But thanks to Kirk Cousins in Minnesota.
Well, he didn't let me down. Kirk Cousins didn't let me down. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Stink up the joint.
In that case, yeah, I get you. But thanks to Minnesota, Aaron Rodgers has a shot to make the playoffs, and he's at home against the Detroit Lions. Now if that game would have been at Motor Field, it would have been a different story. I think they would have went
now for the two reasons you just laid out. Number one,
are you for real?
Number two,
Bitch, are you for real?
I could give a crap that is Aaron Rodgers and Lambeau. I could give a crap that is Mr. Ayahuasca. I could give a crap about him. I could give a crap about Lambeau.
But you know how they work in football.
Yeah, I know. But what sucks about this is the Lions. So messed up. The Lions could win the game and still not make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what sucks about this.
And you know what the problem is? They got to do the same thing that they did in the Super Bowl. They got to cheer for the Rams.
Yeah. Yeah, so how this breaks down, the Seahawks, due to their victory over the Jets, we'll talk about that game in about 5 minutes or so. With their victory, coupled with the Commanders' loss, and even coupled with the Packers and the Lions win, puts them in the 7th seed, the Seahawks. And the reason why they're in the 7th seed is they have a better conference record than the Packers, and they have a 48-45 victory in hand over the Lions in Detroit. And I think that was week 4. So they are 8-8, so they get the number 7 seed, but they have a smaller percentage of making the playoffs than the team that sits at the 9 seed, which right now would be the Green Bay Packers. So how this scenario will work. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Playmaker. The game against the Rams is in Seattle, correct?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so the Seahawks have a home game against the Rams. If the Seahawks win, that basically will eliminate the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
But it does not eliminate the Packers. And why? Because if the Packers were to go on and win now the last game of the year, which makes me ill, because I believe it should have been the Titans-Jaguars, because that has more writing on it, in my opinion. But if the Packers were to win, the Packers at 9-8 would overtake the 9-8 at the time, 9-8 Seahawks, because the Seahawks have a worse conference record than the Packers would.
And that tells me the NFL lied to the American people, because they said the Sunday night game is the game that has the most writing on it. No game. If you look at the week schedule, there's no game that has the most writing on it than the one that's going to be here in Jacksonville.
Unless they paid off the Seahawks to say tank the game. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that on the mic. My bad.
Bruh. If the Rams go into Seattle and beat the Seahawks, everybody know what the hell's going on. There's no way in the hell the Rams should walk in there and beat the Seahawks.
I don't think so either. The Rams, and I'm not saying this because I'm getting on the Rams, because Playmaker, of course, not only is he a Rams fan, but he actually hosts a show called Ramley Talk, so he knows all things about the Rams. But just judging by what I've seen all year from the Rams, the Seahawks should be a better unit.
Did you see how Geno Smith played against the Jets?
That's probably one of the best games he's played all year, and
he wanted that game.
And I'll say it right now: Geno Smith will probably be the comeback player of the year, and I'm happy for him that he would be. But I just cannot see the Rams going into, I call it CenturyLink. I know it's called something else. I just see to go into the building formerly known as CenturyLink Field and beating the Seahawks. I just don't see it. But of course, the Lions now are rooting for that, because if that were to be the case, then the Lions-Packers game on the frozen thunder of Lambeau Field will be a 100% win or go home type of game.
See, this is why Tennessee went ahead and set all their players down. It's like, Dallas, if y'all win, good. It doesn't matter. When they go down to Duval County next week, that's when it matters. And think about it. You got the number 1 overall pick in Trevor Lawrence, right? Going against the king, Derrick Henry, who essentially is from Jacksonville, if you really think about it. Usually nothing but like 45 minutes away.
I saw
the NFL like storylines, right? NFL like storylines, right?
Yeah, I saw that this morning, and I'm thinking to myself, why did they put the game that a division title is at stake? The game actually has the winner wins a division on a Saturday night and not in the season.
And the thing about it, if the NFL like storyline so much, I just gave you one. Derrick Henry, Trevor Lawrence. You want to know another storyline? Tennessee was running away with a division. Where did the hell Jacksonville come from?
Well, I mean, another storyline. Jacksonville, they had a horrible head coach in Urban Meyer who had no business being on an NFL sideline. And for all intents and purposes, the same talent under another head coach now is 60 minutes away from winning the division.
And the most interesting one, since what happened last night, Baltimore will be stuck at the 5 seed. Guess who Baltimore played early in the week in the same building and got beat with the Lamar Jackson?
Well, not quite. Because with that, oh Lord, I wish I had it ready. But I'll do it this way. With the that they took last night and the W that the Chargers gained over your Rams, sir, the Chargers now hold the number 5 seed. The Ravens are the 6th seeded team now.
And by the way, and beat the brakes off the Chargers early in the season too.
Yeah, that's right. So I think
the Jaguars hold victory level both the Ravens and the Chargers.
I think they would smile harder at the Chargers than the Ravens, in my opinion. But yeah. So yeah, the Ravens are crossing their fingers, hoping that that the Chargers decide to lay a brick against the Broncos. I'm sorry, just thinking about the Chargers taking an L to the Broncos is hilarious. Just for them to have a chance to be a number 5 seed, but if they don't, more than likely they'll have to play the Chiefs. Talking about the Ravens, they have to play the Chiefs, the Bills, or the Bengals in the wild card round. One of those three.
If you're the Ravens, why not
more than likely it would be more than likely.
If you're the Ravens, why not play the Bengals?
More than likely the Bengals.
You're going to meet them next week.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, it's
all right,
quite possible.
Y'all might they back-to-back meetings. That was bold rep for the Ravens. They can make the adjustments very quickly.
And that back-to-back meeting might happen. Oh man, I can't find.
I don't think Baltimore want to go back down. I don't think Baltimore want to come back down here.
Nah, I doubt that too. Man, I'm having a hard time finding my coffee mug, but it doesn't matter. Let's sip some coffee. And the man who said,
"Bitch, please,"
right around 7 p.m. last night joins us right now. And that is the man who is in charge of the No Credentials Required podcast and many other outfits as well. That is the one, the only Mr. Ryan McCarthy. How are you, sir? And what are you sipping on?
Well, first off, Happy New Year to you, Cole, and to Playmaker and everyone and listening or watching and in the chat. Still vibing on the bad Santa from Invader Coffee. So it's a sad coffee today, though.
Mr. McCarthy, I hate to do this, but welcome to the group, sir. Welcome to those of us who will be happy enough when week 18 is finally over.
Yeah. There's a lot of oh my gosh. I'm still listen. Back in week 11 after that loss to the Patriots, I just for some reason I could just see the whole season just going downhill and dissolving like Thanos snapping his fingers with a gauntlet.
By the way, I think you have 2 receipts for me.
I don't know. I don't.
Because I told you what was going to happen.
Two receipts.
Yeah.
What?
I called the Jaguars one. And
I saw that coming too. I saw that coming because this offense, they have not scored a touchdown in 8 quarters. 8 quarters.
That's two whole games.
That's 2 whole games. And for some, they hold Tyler Lockett to 2 receptions and DK Metcalf to 1 reception, but they still lose by more than 2 scores. I don't understand.
That's because
that defense got that gashed.
Well, no, it's because the run defense of the Jets decided to take a vacation before the rest of the team did. as the Seahawks ran for almost 200 yards against them.
Yep, and they've been stellar against the run all season.
Right, and that was the telltale sign for me. I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. It's not that Mike White played stellar. I mean, played okay, made mistakes obviously, but that offensive line was not protecting him worth a darn.
Did it really look like it was bothering him?
I'm sorry, playmaker. What was that?
Did it look like them ribs was not ready?
Does it? Oh, he's saying, did it look as though on the field that Mike White wasn't ready to go because his ribs was still messed up?
I don't think any of these quarterbacks could have done anything yesterday because this offensive line stinks. Stinks to high heaven when it comes to pass protection. Has been all season long.
So when I was looking at the film and the highlights of that game, I'd be doggone if, and I'm serious when I say this, I think half the time I saw Mike White with the ball, he got to the turf.
Yep. Because that's how it's been all season. No matter who's been in the backfield.
Yeah. It was some Seahawk defender that put him to the turf, whether it was a sack or not. And I'm thinking, man. And so, because before that I looked at the stats, I was like, oh, Mike White had an off game. Then I looked at highlights, I was like, oh, no wonder he had an off game. He was getting battered all over the place.
Yep.
Not good when you have broken ribs.
No,
it's not. And the Jets, I don't know what it is with Robert Saleh, but he continues to put quarterbacks in who are not 100%. I mean, Joe Flacco was 100%, yeah, but he was good for the first 3 weeks of the season before Zach came back. I don't think Zach Wilson has been healthy.
I can understand yesterday because it's pretty much all or nothing at this point in time. So who's been the best quarterback for you has been Mike White. He had broken ribs. So he
gives you the best chance to win, but it looked clearly on some of these passes that he threw, he did not look 100%.
He wasn't well. He wasn't. I know you were talking about Zach Wilson's health. I was going to say, and then we're talking about his physical health. But then again, I digress.
Sticking with New York, I want to shout out to Wise and them Giants.
Yeah. Congrats to the Giants.
Congrats to the Giants. They made the playoffs for the first time in 6 years, I believe.
Yeah, the famous let's go take a boat trip down to Miami.
Well, fortunately for them, OBJ is not on the team. And they can't get any higher nor lower because they have now clinched the 6th seed. And they now await who they're going to play between the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Giants, and the 49ers. Any one of those 4 teams could make it to the 3 seed.
Okay, this is what's going to happen. The Giants are not going to play their starters, so the Eagles are going to win that game. They are the 1 seed.
No. I think the Giants still had that memory from a couple weeks ago when they got curb stomped by the Eagles at home.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, that 48-point thumping that they took in the Meadowlands, I think is still fresh in their memories.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they would actually be happy that if they actually were to have them drop all the way to the 3rd seed, they probably wouldn't mind basically saying, okay, we'll be here 2 weeks in Philly. Yep. It's only a 90-minute drive south. Yep. I think they'd be happy to do that.
We'll kick your butt at the end of the season, then we'll do it again in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To the Fanatic Feedback Zone we go. 6 says, Happy New Year to you, one Mr. Ryan McCarthy. Deeds talks about the Titans Jaguars is Saturday night. That says it all. They want eyes on Saturday. Why? I have no idea.
It's good for ESPN and ABC. But if the NFL was telling the truth, that would be the Sunday night.
And if that was the case, put the Lions. This is how they should have done it. If that's the case, put the Lions Packers game Saturday night. That is what they should have done.
Yeah.
Because that situation isn't fluid. When you have that game played between the Titans and the Jaguars, you have a definitive situation already handled and solved. But I digress. Rod West says, good morning, guys. The Patriots coming and going make the Super Bowl.
Thanks for making me laugh this morning, Rod.
And the Wonder Bread choir selection has this for you. It is Matt Patricia is your offensive coordinator.
Thank you, Wonder Bread Choir.
Get for real. Be for real, man.
You do realize that y'all last game is at Orchard Park.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. I'm like Teddy Pendergrass back in. Go ahead.
Against the Bills team that's motivated to get that number 1 seed. If they win tonight, number 1 seed's locked up.
No, they have to win this week.
They have to win this week.
Yeah,
but I think they're going to absolutely stomp on the Patriots next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to this after I have to address Mr. West in that comment. I'm like Teddy Pendergrass back in 1973. You mean to tell me you think literally, you seriously within your heart, and I'm not talking about trolling, I mean within your gut, you actually believe the Patriots are going to make the Super Bowl as horrible and as ragtag as that offense is?
You for real?
Get out of here.
Thank you, Teddy Pendergrass.
Yes, thank you, Teddy. Love you, brother, as always. Okay, so that actually dovetails right into what I wanted to ask you. Now, I think further in making you, I won't say depressed, but dejected. Yes, you know the Jets are eliminated because of that this horrible showing in Seattle.
Disgraceful, disgusting, every D word.
Disgraceful, disgusting.
Every dis word.
Disjointed.
Yeah.
Your mutually assured destruction wish isn't really going as planned because right now the Patriots sit at the 7th seed spot. Now, that is, of course, tenuous because the Patriots have to travel to Orchard Park, New York to play the Bills. And tonight, the Bills play the Bengals. Now, they're in Cincy. What do you think? What chances do you give the Bills of coming out of the jungle with a W?
Wow. It is a tough game to predict. That is for sure. Because the Bengals have been one of the best teams in the NFL since the midway point of the season. Their offensive line was terrible for the first 4 weeks of the year. It's like, it's a rebuilt offensive line. They're still allowing sacks to Joe Burrow. But ever since then, their offensive line has gelled. They can run the ball, not with just one back, but 2 running backs. Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon. Plus, they have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Hunter. Not Hunter Hurst, obviously. I'm trying to think. I know his last name is Hurst. But that offense is going to give. Yeah, that offense is going to give the Bills defense fits, especially since their best pass rusher is not there. Is not there right now. Von Miller, he's done for the year. So, and the Bills have a decent run defense, but if they can take a page out of the playbook from week 9, when the Jets played the Bills and saw how the Jets did against the Bills, put that into plan, the Bengals will win this game. And they have to do basically do the bare minimum in stopping Josh Allen, because he's their pass defense and their run defense right now. A run offense, pass offense and run offense right now.
He's the offense.
That's
he's basically the entire offense with Stephon Diggs. That's basically it.
And you're going to smile, Mr. McCarthy, when I kick it over to the beginning of our number 2. Because I think the point that you just made will be hammered home every day, starting today. Playmaker, what do you think, bro?
All right, I've got the Bengals. They at home. They on fire. I know the Bills want that 1 seed, but this Bengals team, even they don't even have to get the ball to Jamar Chase and they win it. They're getting the ball to T. Higgins. You can't stop it. Tyler Boyd can't stop it. Joe Mixon ain't been having a great game for the last couple of weeks. It's been some IJP Ryan.
Right.
They have weapons everywhere working. And now they at home. And the one thing that we haven't brought up yet, the AFC ain't locked up yet.
Oh,
No.
I was going to actually mention that. The Bengals, I think, have a little more to play for than the Bills do. And the reason why I say it that way, yes, the Bengals also are in the playoffs too, but they really want to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. So part of proving it would be they want to be AFC North champs for a second straight year. So I think they have more to play for, and they're at home. So I do think the Bengals could probably pull it off. And it is contingent to me on if the Bengals really do believe that their run offense is for real. If they actually can stay and stick with that, I like their chances better.
And think about it.
And
they'll have wins over Kansas City, would it be 3 times in one calendar year?
Right.
Yeah.
And they beat the Bills.
And one of those 3 times in Arrowhead.
Yep.
One of those three wins it was in Arrowhead, and it happened to be the AFC Championship game. So yeah, you almost have to ask the question: Are the Bengals and the Chiefs heads? Almost like you asked the same question about the Bills when it comes to Chiefs: Are the Chiefs and the Bills heads? So if the Bengals lose, that would mean that all the Chiefs have to do is beat Vegas in Vegas. They get the number 1 seed. So now, if a miracle happens where the Bills lose this game Monday, but the Chiefs also lose next week, I want the smile to come on my brother guest's face. That would mean the Bills will have the number 1 seed still to play for, in hopes that the Bengals will lose to the Ravens at home, which that won't happen, I don't think. But they will still have something to play for, at least the number 2 seed. How happy would you be if, I think it's going to be when, the Bills beat the Patriots and send them home?
I'm going to be honest.
I'd be pretty happy.
I'm going to make you very happy. The Bills going to beat the brakes off the Patriots next week.
Now, that is contingent, though, and this was going to make it real bad. That is contingent on if the Bills beat the Patriots, the Jets lose to the Dolphins.
But we're forgetting Pittsburgh.
Well, okay.
If Pittsburgh needs Miami to lose to the Jets, and they need the Patriots to lose to the Bills, and if they beat the Browns, they're in. They're the 7th seed.
Right. I agree. They would.
And the funny thing is, that can't actually happen because I don't know who's going to be a quarterback for the damn Dolphins.
Yeah.
So it's not a concussion protocol.
Okay.
And they already ruled out Teddy Bridgewater already.
Okay.
Yeah, he's done.
So that actually might happen. Although that would suck for me because my boss is a Steelers fan, and already
I forgot.
And already this morning,
getting the church.
This morning, she gets on. She says, "Happy New Year." I said, "I was thinking about you with that pick a touchdown throw to Najee Harris 1 minute ago in the game last night." She says she doesn't have a voice, but let me see if I can get this quote correct. This is my boss, one of the hugest Steelers fans you'll ever meet. Oh, Lord. And she knew who she was addressing it to when she said that it was straight to me. She said, quote, "The Steelers are going to the Super Bowl." Close quote. And now, just like Rod West, I will have the Wonder Bread Choir sing another selection to my manager. And that is, "You are as delirious as Rod West."
Now, I have to say this.
Thank you, Wonder Bread Choir.
I think it was
Thank you for that name, Ryan. Yes, go ahead, sir.
One person on this panel that said he doesn't believe that Mike Thompson's going to have a losing season.
Yes, it was you.
It's right there.
Right.
I'm just saying. All they got to do is Deshaun Watson.
It's right there, but it also is a Deshaun Watson-less Browns team beat the Steelers earlier this year. But all right. Say if the Steelers actually lose to the Browns again this year, and the Jets beat the Dolphins, and the Patriots
get Kerr stomped in Buffalo.
Get Kerr stomped in Buffalo. Would you then be really happy seeing all of that mutually assured destruction happen with all of the wild card to be teams?
And if all that happens,
in week 18,
and if all that
happens, the Jaguars would make the playoffs
if they lose to Tennessee.
Well, that would be my prediction would come true. I said
no.
They can lose.
They can lose to Tennessee.
Right.
They can lose to Tennessee. And if all of them lose, they will get the 7th seed.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
If all of them lose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That would be. I mean, if you love chaos,
yes,
you would love this scenario.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you
but
would.
I don't see. Well, even Tennessee could still make the playoffs if all those other teams lose, right?
No, because if they were to lose, they'd be 7-10, so they wouldn't make it.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
No,
yeah.
so no, they gave the Cowboys the game, even though the Cowboys tried to give it back.
Now if they would have beat like if they would have beaten, if they would either beaten the Cowboys or if they would have not given one of those games, or like the Chargers game or the Texans, if they would have won one of those games, and they probably would have been in the hunt still. But no. For the Titans is they got to win this game Saturday night or they're out the playoffs no matter what. But the Jaguars,
are a wagon.
Mm-hmm.
They're a wagon.
But if the Patriots, Dolphins, and Steelers all lose, the Jaguars will have the 7th seed no matter what. No matter what.
This season's drunk.
Yeah. I love that. I had to go over the fine-tooth comb. I had to see to myself. I had to see it for myself. I was like, is that right? The Jaguars still could end up with a playoff spot if they lose? Like, oh man.
Oh.
Well, then I think I know I'm a root for. Although I know I'm a Texas fan. I don't necessarily want to see the Colts, the Titans, or the Jaguars to really prosper, but I don't know. I have an affinity in my heart for the Jaguars, the way that they were done bad and done wrongly by Urban Meyer, and the way Doug Peterson has just made this team look so much better with the same parts.
Yep.
Yeah.
And another thing is they did break your stranglehold on them. They finally got out of that stranglehold that Houston was holding them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And Cole, actually, before I go, Cole, I do have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you think?
Yes, sir.
Do you think Houston will you think the Texans will ever get a chance to rebrand as the Oilers? So long as the family who owns the Titans.
To be honest, when I watched the game and they did talking about changing colors and uniforms, so I'm thinking they might be going that way.
Well, unfortunately they can't because the Titans own the Oilers stuff. But to answer your question, Ryan, although that would make me extremely happy if they were to rechristen themselves the Oilers again.
Rebrand, yeah.
And rebrand. And just let the Titans just give up the Oilers stuff. I'd be glad they did, but they won't. Because the Adams family, creepy as a TV program. Do I see this happening?
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no, no, no.
I would love for it to happen, but it won't.
Thank you, Bishop Bullwinkle.
Thank you.
Rest in peace.
All right, so where can the people find you, and what is on tap for the next installment of No Credentials Required?
All right, so No Credentials Required tomorrow at 7 p.m. on our YouTube channel. We're up to 163 subscribers, so whoever has been subscribing, thank you. I appreciate it. But my co-host Dustin and I will be talking about this past week in the NFL. and we'll talk about the chaos that's probably to come this weekend. So we're excited to talk about football. It's been a pretty wild ride in terms of our production. So if I would love if you could join us. If you can join us, great. If not, you could always watch the replay or listen to the podcast the next day. So 7 o'clock tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Come on down and engage with the show, and we'll have some fun.
And if you saw this bit that you just witnessed in the last few minutes, you pretty much get a more comprehensive understanding of what No Criticism Required is. You'll love it, just like we do, just like we love Ryan McCarthy. Sir, as always, we enjoy you every Monday, and we enjoy the chat as well. Thank you so much for being a part of this show.
Ryan.
Thanks, y'all.
I'm so sorry. Brother Cass, thank you.
I love you.
But we're not done. Hour number 2, Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, comes at you right now.
Time for hour 2 of this spectacular. Ryan McCoffey now joins us this morning.
That's what you need to do to beat Josh Allen. You need to make him uncomfortable.
Hour 2, time for some Spivey notes. And here's Jay.
Well, I know he's only in his 3rd year, but they're just wasting Justin Herbert.
Hour 2,
the hardest working content creator I know, the playmaker.
Hey, LeBron James, the greatest scorer of all time. Hey.
Hour 2,
the one, the only Christopher Dietz.
They rewarded Ohio State for not playing, and they punished USC for playing.
Hour 2, Sam Shady.
Oh man, it's been a roller coaster ride if you were a Philadelphia Stars fan.
Hour 2, that's Big Ben, the man in charge of the BS3 network.
And if I see Kurt 2 Chainz Cousins out.
Hour 2, Chris Bay's joining us.
Oh my God, oh, this game. Oh, way to go, Sammy.
Hour 2, was
Oh man, I thought I missed it.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Time for hour 2 of this spectacular, and it starts right now.
Hour 2 of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson's on the way.
Did you put that together?
Yes, I did, sir. With the playmaker, I am Cole Johnson. Your thoughts, sir?
He found the clip of me talking about LeBron.
And the delivery was just, I was like, so how you did it, I was like, I cannot pass this up. That's just how, that's beautiful right there.
The sarcasticness that I needed. I mean, that's what all everybody talking about. I'm like, dude, this team is still under 500.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Because this, and also typifies how I feel too. So I'm like, this is even better.
Yay.
Oh, Lord. All right. So joining us.
Right. We got to switch gears real quick because, you know.
Well, let me set the table real quick before you do. Joining us for hour number 2, later on in hour number 2, will be Jay Spivey as we do Spivey notes, because we're going to get all up in the Panthers in blowing that 21-10 lead and losing 30-24 in Tampa
to 2 players.
And we're gonna, only 2 players, and we're gonna get into some other things as well. And before I do let you switch gears, sir, Fanatic Feedback Zone we had. I had to show love to the fam, and let me show love to one of my own personal friends, my brother, Wise El Jefe. Stuck in My Mind podcast. He says, good morning, gents. And programming note, Wise and myself will be co-hosting a show. We got the name for it, and you'll start to see commercials about it very soon. And we're looking forward to bring you good content. I think you all enjoy it and love it. 6 says, JETS, just jinx the entirety of the season. Yeah, true.
No, they got their own name back now, just in the season.
Yeah, just in the season, yeah. Deets, why says hello to you. Deets says, Brian Daboll has too much integrity to throw the game. I agree with you. I think coming from the Bills organization and getting a taste of what the playoff energy is. I think he wants to infuse that into the Giants to say, this could be you too. I've seen a young team grow up and mature in front of our eyes, and people not really believe that they can be who they are and they actually can grow into the role. I know how that looks like. I think you all have it, and I want to infuse that into you. That's the type of guy Brian Daboll is. To me, he's one of the candidates for Coach of the Year. Another would be Mike Tomlin, sir, and I'll say that to you in front of you. Eagles Elite Podcast, one of my favorite content creators, Cool McCain. He says, Happy New Year, everyone. Sorry about how your Eagles did yesterday, man.
Keep going. He had more to say.
Oh, I know he has what. Look, I know how Cool is. Cool. It doesn't matter how the Eagles do. If they win or lose, you're going to hear what he has to say about them. And that's what I love about him. He's real. He's as real about the Eagles as you are about the Rams, sir. Wyatt says, Happy New Year's, everybody else in the chat. Cool says, they had to put the Packers on Sunday night. I understand why. I still am barfing. And thank you, Tyler Boyd. Thank you. I always blank on, that's like, I know it's a T. Talking about the third wide receiver for the Bengals. I know it's a T, but I can't remember if it's Tyler or Terrence. Michael Concesio, what's up, my man? If you want to know basketball knowledge, this guy, and history too, this guy has it all. He says, what's up, my man, Cole? Sharing this. And please, all of you, no matter if you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or any other sphere, if you have it within you, share this out because this is some quality material. Rod West says, return of the Mac Jones taking us to the AFC Championship.
First of all, how dare you ruin that song?
Well, I do I do a reverend or a pastor, and he would sing. But this isn't the city fifth. But I will give this to Bishop Bullwinkle. Will Mac Jones take the Patriots to the AFC Championship?
Woo! Hell no! To the no, no, no! Hell to the no! Hell to the no! To the no, no, no!
And see, and this is why Cool and I are here. He says, of those people who thought Gardner Minshew was that guy, and this is the issue I had, and Cool, I know you're going to relate to me when I say this. I could be real with you and just go straight, cut straight to it, and you accept it for what it is, right? I had so many Eagles fans look at me like I was crazy after that Cowboys L, and I said, you're happy about Minshew throwing for over 300 yards against the Cowboys, and he put up 27 points. Yes, I know the Eagles scored 34, pick 6. There you go. But that secondary didn't look good. That 3rd and 30, giving up 53 yards, that was not good at all. And I did not like that. And I'm like, that's an issue. That's a problem. And all I kept hearing from Eagles fan outside of you and Sam was, mere bag of shells, man. We got the last 2 games. We're good to go. And joining us in this conversation, although you don't see him, but he is here. It is the one, the only, the Snowman himself, one Mr. Brian Snow. How are you, sir?
Good morning.
I've been waiting for you. We have a conversation to have.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. We got a conversation to have.
Well, we'll have that conversation in a sec. Deed says, playmaker, you're in Florida. Just show up in Miami with a jersey. They might put you a QB. They may put anybody in a QB. As bad as they are. Oh, my gosh. A Pistol says, cool. Minshew Mania is still running wild. It shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't. So,
but I agree.
How about a recap of what I missed? Because I was boring.
Yeah, no.
This is one of those times I stayed up till like 1 o'clock preparing, and y'all know some of my health problems. I have neuropathy with my feet, so I took some gabapentin and out like a light.
Yeah, I by the time when I gave you the rundown, I looked at the time, looked at your activity. I was like, yeah, he's gonna be out.
Listen, you know very, very well that that I'm like I was dead on my feet. But I want to thank you and Playmaker and the folks in the chat for holding it down for me. I appreciate it, and y'all been holding it down since April, since I went under the knife, and everything within. And you, Cole Johnson, I owe many, many more kudos because since you took the EP position off my shoulder, it has been wonderful. And Happy New Year to all.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you, to your family, and look, man, you've kicked you kicked cancer in the butt 9 months now.
Mm-hmm.
You got 2023, 2022 was good. 2023 is going to be even better, no question.
The last two numbers of greatness alone. Number 23.
Number 23.
That's right. And
the original.
Rod West. Thank you. Say that again for me, Cole. The original 23.
The original 23.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But if you want to do a recap, all right.
Please.
So I will start. I will start with the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping you would be awake, but you weren't. I actually revamped the intro and the hour 2 intro. And
man. I can't wait to see it.
And so the claps from A Pizzle, it's because of that. Ryan McCarthy saying, "Well done, Cole. Thank you, sir." And of course Ryan was absolutely nails in his Coffee McCarthy segment. Why should you be surprised?
Why should we be surprised?
And
Sick Biggie, way to go, Sammy!
Way to go, Sammy! Oh yeah. Oh, and yes, and in hour 2, you will hear that soundbite. Way to go,
Lord, Sam. I can't wait. See, New Year. Cole Johnson's revamp the intro. I mean, we're off to a flying start. Continue playing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no problem. Ryan says, I was actually referring to the tight end Hayden Hurst, but Tyler Boyd too. Yeah. Cool says, Con Man. Man, it's such a small
Con Man
world.
In the house. And
it's such
Eagles
a small
Elite
world. Mm-hmm.
Eagles Elite podcast in the house. And good morning to Ryan McCoffey and Sick Diggy and everybody and A Pizzle. Everybody. Listen, folks, I need you to throw something up for me, Cole. Listen, folks, this is the first day of the new year, new broadcast. I need a favor. If y'all can donate to the cause.
Keep going.
If y'all can donate to the cause via Cash App or join via Patreon, the goal for this month is 100 patrons, and the lowest level is $5. It's $5 a piece. A lot of behind the scenes stuff that I'm going to be filming on this side, and a lot of behind the scenes fun conversation. Y'all don't want to miss out. You see the address at the bottom of your screen. You see the Cash Apps for both Cole and myself, and Playmaker. If you have a Cash App, we'll get that info too. So thank you guys very, very much for being patient with me.
Yeah, no problem. And speaking of patience probably running out, Rod West says the Patriots defense have more takeaways and 50+ sacks. I told y'all TB12 is the GOAT.
You know what to play.
Oh, I definitely know what to play. And it wouldn't be the Wonder Bread choir selection. It will be Samuel L.
I don't remember asking you a thing.
And to Rod West, TB12's the GOAT, huh? Not in week 13, he wasn't, because we kicked his ass.
TB12's the GOAT.
Bitch, please.
All right.
I'm glad you brought your team up, because what I saw yesterday from that defense was not.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
The defense had an off day. What?
We will talk about that. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Six says, I think Stephen A. Smith would say it better. Cole, how dare you? Oh, cool.
Oh, Lordy.
So there was So there was a BS narrative that it was the team, not Hurts. I think that has been debunked. It should have been debunked before he went down. I mean, how could you not tell?
Yes.
How could you not tell that team was operated and battery operated by the things that Hurts was doing? Teams did not know how to defend them because Hurts, he actually did something that they didn't think he could do, and that was actually be a pocket passer. And so you have the ability of him being a pocket
Sick
passer.
Diggy, this is Sick Diggy,
Mm-hmm.
this is for you.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous. How dare you? How dare you say such a thing?
So yeah, you have this energy where defenses don't know, okay, well, we'll let Hurts beat us. And you saw what he did against the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And then teams see what they did against the Titans, say, oh, well, we can't have him beat us in the pocket. And then they'll just run it up on
for
you.
almost 200 yards.
Yeah, runs for almost 200 yards, and the team runs for over 200 yards like they did against the Giants.
Salute
That's
to Bitter
hard to
Truth.
defend.
Salute to Bitter Truth Show. He's in the house with us.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And so that's just hard. It's hard, man. Six says Feliz Año Nuevo to Wise.
Good morning, Wise. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to all. Ben, happy New Year to you.
BS3. What's up, man? Happy New Year to you. Good
Ben
morning.
Ben
You were now
knows
immortalized in
smiling
the
from
beginning
ear
of
to
hour number. You were now immortalized in hour number 2 of Snowman in the Morning, Ben. And unfortunately, so is Kirk Cousins.
Ben knows that smiling from ear to ear. There's a chance.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying
I don't remember asking you a thing.
I love it.
Oh, cool. Say less. Gentlemen, you give me 15, I'll hop on.
Stand by a minute, folks. Wait, why don't we do this? Let's take a break.
Not yet. But that's what we're going to do.
Okay, let's take a break. Recalibrate, reset. We got Jay Spivey coming on at the bottom of the hour, and Cool McCain will join us as well. And we got 49ers to recap. This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson and the Playmaker. Back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free and will even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
That's why we here on this platform.
Marriage, a loving splendor, a daily grind. Such is the case when Damien and Jamie get together and chop it up, for marriage is real.
Let's just lay it all out here. Let's just be real with it.
Join this wonderful couple who keeps it real and always in love. BS3 Network proudly presents Marriage is Real, where love is the only thing that matters. Live every Tuesday at 8:30 Central. Oh, and Jamie has something to say.
Deuces and trays.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus, smarter than energy.
Cause we take this job so serious.
Man, I went home that day and talked to my wife, Vicky, and Vicky was like, "What's wrong with you? You pissed off?" Yeah, I got this partner I'm working with back in the radio station. Man. The Negro be lying. What in the all types of blue hell?
Yes, it's Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
But these Negroes won't be lying.
I love you for that. That is
right.
Fantastic.
Oh man, with Brian Snow and the Playmaker, I am Cole Johnson. Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, the first installment of Snowman in the Morning for 2023. And yeah, before we continue, because I've given the invite to Cool, before we continue, I decided to give you the floor, Mr. Snow, because I know you have a lot of things to say in terms of the 49ers, possibly with one loss that the Eagles need to make and the win that we pretty much is going to be all but guaranteed for the 49ers to do against the Cardinals. They can be the number one seed in the NFC going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So whatever it is on your mind, let it rip. The floor is yours, sir.
I was not pleased with the defensive performance. And the one thing that's been a problem for the last couple of years has been our secondary, and Jarrett Stidham, to the tune of 360 yards, ate us up. He kept beating us over the top, and it led to star defensive tackle Nick Bosa saying, quote, "We may have underestimated Jarrett Stidham." Yeah, close quote. Yeah, you did. You did. But all that being said, giving up 34 points, giving up close to 500 yards, the defense made one play, and Darnell, the playmaker, said, "Where's that vaunted defense?" I told him it was coming. The defense needed to make one play, and I knew one play would seal the deal, and that was the interception in overtime. And this is after Robbie Gould missed a walk-off field goal at the end of regulation, pushed it wide right. So the defense, who has been balling out all year, and I'll say it again, and Playmaker, you are 100% right. This was not a vaunted defensive performance, because I saw that they underestimated the Raiders when the Raiders took it right downfield and punched us in the mouth.
The very first possession, yeah.
Very first possession, the opening possession, took it right down the field, and the black hole was alive.
Well, this was easily the worst. This is easily, by far, the worst performance by the 49ers defense this year. And it's not even close.
It's not.
Number
it's
two
not
is
even
named
close.
Did you forget
34 points and almost 500 yards of offense for the Raiders, who were 6-9 coming in, 6-10 now. But you know what? With all that being said, and boy, when I was watching, when I was watching, yes, I was cussing. I did not even try the "I will not cuss" chant. My wife comes behind me, rubs my shoulders, and she said, "You know what you said to me during the Georgia Ohio State game?" I said, "What's that, baby?" She goes, "There's a lot of game left." Well,
she was right.
She was right.
That's where he messes me back too. So
that there's a lot of game left. It was going to take an offensive performance to win that game, because the Raiders had nothing to lose. Derek Carr benched for the remainder of the year, and he's going to be traded, I believe.
I think you would
but
be too.
Back to the 49ers. Despite the horrid defensive performance. You got to get some kudos to that team as a whole.
Yeah.
For realizing they underestimated the Raiders and they said, okay, our offense is going to have to win this game. And both sides came up clutch.
Yeah.
The interception in overtime, and Robbie, good as gold, knocked home a 23-yard field goal to win the game. And I didn't frighten Lucy, my little dog, but I did make my wife laugh when I saw Robbie Gold knock home the game winner. And I was here in my office. My wife was in the living room, and I yelled out loud, "Peace out! Niners win again!" And I realized how loud I was. I went in the family room, and Jody's just sitting there laughing. And she just goes, "I wonder who won the game just now."
The 49ers stressed you out yesterday.
Listen, they made me pull my hair out, and I'm already bald.
Yeah.
All right.
I looked at us and said, Jerry, they don't be starting.
They stressed me.
49ers destroy them.
Listen, the 49ers should have lost that game yesterday, but I'll say it. I'll say it again. This is what I told. This is what I told Playmaker, and this is what I tell all of you. I've had some people come at me saying, "I bet you won't keep it real with what happened in Las Vegas yesterday." Yeah, to those who thought that, bite me.
See,
but
they don't know you. They don't know you.
They don't know the kind of sports talk that we bring. And when I say we, I mean everybody that pops on this show, and to wit, Playmaker Darnell Song, Jay Spivey will join us at the bottom of the hour.
Right.
But man, that should have been an L. That should have been the end of the winning streak for San Francisco. But it also, on the opposite side of that coin, shows you the grit and the determination of this 49er team, because they know they can't take any opponent lightly. Brock Purdy, 22 for 35, 264, 2 touchdowns and interception. One of the players of the game, Christian McCaffrey, 19 carries, 121 yards, and a touchdown. They didn't stick with they stuck with the run. They stuck with the run, but
they didn't stick with him.
They didn't stick with McCaffrey running the football. And at the same time, I see the point, because Elijah Mitchell's on the way back. I see the point, but at the same time, when you got a hot hand like McCaffrey, you got to keep using him.
I'm gonna be honest. That 4 o'clock window, them running backs was on it. McCaffrey,
Yeah, it was.
Akers,
it
Walker, Eckler. I'm like, dang.
Jared Stidham, 23 of 34, 365, 3 touchdowns plus a pick. Josh Jacobs, 17 carries, 69 yards. But I said McCaffrey was one of the players of the game. Brock Purdy, one of the players of the game. And Cole and Playmaker all season kept saying, we need a performance from number 11, Brandon Ayuk. Well, how about this? Well, how about this? 9 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown.
That was necessary.
Yeah, it was an offensive showdown. And the 49ers were outgained 500 to 454, but the second turnover that they forced came in overtime, and it led to the game winner.
Yeah.
So I think they know Kyle Shanahan and company got a very, very hard lesson against the Raiders.
I feel bad for the Cardinals now.
Yeah, I feel bad for the Cardinals and for anybody they face in the playoffs, because that performance.
I particularly feel bad for the Cardinals because they finna use the Cardinals as an example of what's coming in the playoffs.
Oh, they're gonna use them as a whipping boy. They're gonna use them. I think of Oklahoma State and the paddle crew along the front row at Boone Pickens Stadium. You know, when they get their paddles and they're smacking the side of the wall. That's what's going to happen to the Cardinals next Sunday.
I actually think this was a good thing. I think
yes.
I think the 49ers needed to have that type of game particularly go that way. They needed to have their defense, I won't say not show up, but I mean they needed to have their defense not have their best game.
They needed their defense tested.
And they needed the defense tested, and they got tested royally.
Yeah.
And they needed to have that game where the offense had to pull it off for them. And that is a team booster.
Let's go back 3 years. Saturday night game against the Los Angeles Rams at Levi's Stadium. Rams basically had nothing to play for. The 49ers knew they could knock them out of the playoffs. And the defense did not have their best game that night either. But at the same time, the offense rode to the rescue with 2 3rd and 16 conversions, and Robbie Gould knocked home the game winner as time expired. Sick Diggy said it best. Talk about digging deep. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. They dug real deep. Don Schaefer, one of the offsite producers in the house, made a request of us. He said, "Talk college, please." Did y'all do this CFP earlier, or did we?
No,
not yet. No. And I wanted to slot time to do just that.
Okay, then let's do that now. And when Jay comes, we'll stay with it when Jay comes on. Let's start in Tempe, Arizona. Wow.
Look, I'll say it this way. That was a great game to watch.
Yes.
It was a great game to watch from strategy, not necessarily from this really wasn't a pretty game, but it was, from strategy, it was great to watch because the thought process is Big 12. Well, yeah, I've always said defense is optional, and in that game actually proved it. But but also the prevailing thought is, well, Big 12 teams, you can push them around. They ain't physical. We've seen Oklahoma many different times in the CFP get to the national semifinal and get the brakes beaten off of them. So that was the thought. And the Big Ten is, of course, we're big boy football. We just get on the field. We get on the field. We ground and pound. We 3 hours of cloud dust. We're just going to, with our own sheer might, bully you out the stadium.
Well,
and TCU is Michigan that business.
You know what? The pick six to start the scoring, put the game out of reach for Michigan. Actually, two things happened in the first quarter that swung the momentum to TCU, and TCU never let it go. They stopped Michigan on a 4th and goal. They made a goal line stand, and after a punt, they pick off J.J. McCarthy. And 39 yards later, it's 7-0 TCU. And TCU basically said, "You're not going to push us around. We're going to push you around. And you're going to have to come. You're going to have to catch us." And before the playoffs started, there was, I said last week on Wednesday, there was one thing that Michigan did not have that TCU had plenty of: speed.
Yeah.
They had a lot of speed.
And that also came to bite Michigan too. Exactly.
We'll continue our CFP conversation as we welcome Jay Spivey with some Spivey notes.
Let's find that newspaper. Where is it? There it is.
And now, courtesy of the Car Shield guest line, we welcome the one, the only Jay Spivey in the house with us. Good morning, Jay.
Gentlemen, how are you doing?
We're doing
Happy New Year, sir. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Jay.
And Jay, how about those college football playoff games?
Oh my goodness. Y'all know how much I love college football.
Yes.
May I throw a question out there?
Please do.
Big Ten. How you like the SEC now?
But no, continue, Jay.
Go ahead,
Your
Jay.
thoughts.
Go ahead, Jay.
Okay. Y'all know how much I love college football. And generally, these games are pretty disappointing, the playoff games.
They are.
But Saturday was incredible.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say, not Saturday night. Yeah.
It was incredible.
Man, was
I hated to have to go to sleep early because I had to go to work the next morning.
Right.
But yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm with you, Jay. Both national semifinals games, to me, the best national semifinals slotted games that I've seen since they've come up with this.
I don't think there's any question about that.
The best one.
Because nobody expected, and Jay and I talked about this on Saturday. No one expected TCU to push Michigan around the way that they did.
No, not at all.
No.
And not only did they push Michigan around, they hung half 100 on them.
Yeah. Made them look silly.
They did.
They made, and they not only, and Jay, we talked about this, like I said, off the air on Saturday, and wife and I were watching it, and we were glued to the television.
Me too.
Not one, but 2 pick sixes by that TCU defense. Jay, the floor is yours.
I mean, it's just I don't even have a real rooting interest. Although I want Georgia to win because I'm a huge, even though I live in a state that pretty much doesn't care about college football, which for some unknown reason just bothers the living daylights out of me.
Yes.
Because you're a football fan.
I live and breathe SEC football. I watch almost nothing but SEC football on Saturdays. And I love watching good teams like Georgia and Alabama play. I mean, just look at what happened Saturday. I mean, I know Ohio State played well and Michigan played pretty well, but I don't know that you could argue that Alabama might be the second best team in the country.
It's quite possible, and especially with the outing that they put for the Sugar Bowl earlier that day too. I mean,
and they had no incentive to play well. They had no incentive to play well Saturday. They had nothing to play for.
When Bryce Young and the linebacker, I can't think of his name right now. When they said they were playing, I said, "Oh, they have to prove something." Okay, they have to prove something.
And going back to that Sugar Bowl against Alabama, Jay, Alabama and Kansas State, they allowed Kansas State a 10-0 lead, and then finally they got mad.
Just got blitzed them after that.
They how'd the line go in network? I want you to get mad. Well, Alabama got mad.
It just shows you. I mean, also, how Ohio State will continue to get great athletes and great football players. There's no question about that, and they have every resource in the world. But it just shows you the divide between Georgia, Alabama, and everybody else right now.
Right.
I mean, the Big Ten got the worst of it in both ways. Ohio State actually had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter.
They had a double-digit lead 3 separate times. Listen, Ohio State had a double-digit lead 3 separate times. They led at halftime, 28-24. But Jay, brother, that the fact that Georgia trailed by 2 scores on a couple separate occasions, that woke them up.
Yeah, it did. You're right. They didn't put them away when they had the chance, and they let Georgia kind of eke back into it a little bit. And then the field goal at the end of the game. I hate that the game ended that way, but it was the way sports go. But man, that field goal wasn't even close.
It really wasn't. I got a present for y'all I got a present for y'all, and I just happened to get this. Jay, you love SEC football, as do I. Scott Howard with the game winner.
Clock moving at 123, 122, 121. Dogs have 2 timeouts. Ohio State has 2 timeouts. It's 41-35. Georgia trails by 6.
Boy, what a ball right there by Stetson Bennett. Nice route by Kieras Jackson.
Everyone on their feet here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Nobody sitting in this one. From the 10, snap it back to Bennett. He looks in the end zone, throws it for the back corner. Caught! Touchdown! A.D. Mitchell! Back left corner! Touchdown! The Dogs have tied it!
Corner route there by A.D. Mitchell. Great protection by Georgia right.
That's courtesy of the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network. Scott Howard, the legendary Scott Howard, on the call, and I played that. I played that for Jay. I played that for everybody, but I played that especially for Jay. There's one thing I love about college football when I listen to them on the radio. I've been told they get into it, man. They really get into it, and I love every bit of it.
Yeah, Bennett, he left points on the board.
That's part of the pageantry of college football to me. It's just, I know bowl, especially now the way things are with opt-outs and some of these bowls almost mean nothing. But yeah, man, the Saturday was just great. It really was.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Let me read these correctly.
He played a hell of a game.
Yeah, he did. CJ Stroud, 23 of 34, 348 yards, threw 4 touchdowns. Stetson Bennett, also 23 of 34 for 298, 3 touchdowns plus a pick. And I hated, let me repeat Jay's statement. I hated that it ended the way that it did, with the field goal being shanked wide left. But this is a reminder, and Jay has said this on my show many, many times over. This is a reminder of the superiority of college football because of the way the kids play.
Now,
well, I gotta believe. I know the game lasted to almost exactly midnight Saturday.
Beyond midnight.
But I gotta believe the ratings were pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man alive.
I bet you that. Yeah, I bet you the ratings will be through the roof. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
If I can take a page out of Cole's playbook.
My one concern is Monday night with the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling Georgia's woken up and will play really well Monday night.
Same. I believe that too.
Same.
I believe that too. Georgia was already installed as the favorite, and the spread right now is 13.
And they're not going to have a 4-week layoff like they just had.
No, they're not. They're not. Championship game is Monday night. I will do a live stream for that. I will do a live stream for that game Monday night from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. But it's Jay. I'll repeat your statement. That game against Ohio State may have really, really woken up the dogs as they prep for TCU.
Well, and that's nothing against TCU. They've obviously had a tremendous year, but yeah, their one loss was to Kansas State, and we saw what happened to Kansas State on Saturday.
Yes.
That's why I say people don't want to hear this, but you could probably say the two best teams in college football are Alabama and Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia. I went back and looked. I knew Georgia had Alabama had 2 real close games. They lost 2 games by a total of 4 points.
Yes.
A total of 4 points.
Think about it. It took a field goal at the end of regulation for one loss, and it took a 2-point conversion to be executed and converted in overtime for the other.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the problem is the team that beat them in overtime, beat them in on a field goal, they lost their quarterback, and that's how their season went down the drain.
Well,
the other school, they decided to get smacked around by Texas A&M out of all teams.
Well,
as far as Tennessee, the two programs are almost mirror images of each other because the two coaches coached with each other for so long. I mean, they're almost identical programs. They just happen to be in different states and different cities.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, as far as Tennessee is concerned, look, the quarterback does not play defense. That doesn't explain the 63 points that South Carolina hung on him.
No, not at all.
It doesn't. And then Tennessee ripped Clemson to shreds.
Mm-hmm.
They ripped Clemson to shreds.
They did.
And got a lot of notoriety here this year. Tennessee got a lot of notoriety here this year because Hendon Hooker's from Greensboro, which is 25-30 miles from where I live. So, I mean, he got a lot of exposure, and he had a great this year. I just hate that he got hurt.
I did too.
Was he playing at a Heisman level before he got hurt?
Absolutely, he was.
Yes, he was.
And to your earlier point about Alabama and Georgia, Jay, Ryan said it best. He says, "Man, Kirby Smart said as such after the game when he said we got a lot of work to do." Talking about how parallel Alabama and Georgia are. Yeah,
there's no question
that
about it.
That sounds totally like a Nick Saban line.
Well, yeah, for the most part, I mean, Saban's assistants have done so-so, but none of them have come close to what Kirby Smart's done at Georgia.
Oh, not even close. No,
not even close. Not even close.
Can I give Kentucky a 1-year ban from the SEC? What the hell was that?
Be there.
What
They
the
didn't
hell
want
was
to be
that?
there.
Yeah, they want the money. Yeah, of course.
And Will Levis opted out. He didn't even play. And Mel Kiper's got him as the number 1 pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm. Why?
I don't see that. I don't see that. I think Bryce Young will be the number 1 pick.
I don't see how.
I can, unfortunately, because the Texans. Yeah, the Texans own the number 1 draft pick. I can see them pulling off a BS pick as that. I can totally see it.
Oh boy, Jay Spivey joining us here.
That's why I understand the opt-outs, but for me, if you're a teammate and you've put in 3 years or whatever it is that these guys have put in, why are you opting out in a bowl game?
It looks to the team that looks like a cop
trend
out.
is really nasty.
Yeah, because to the team that looks like a cop out.
I had someone tell me that when a player opts out, it just shows how much they are not a part, how much they are not a part of the team,
now,
and how much they didn't want to be a part of the team.
This is why Chris been saying let's get rid of the bowl season, because what's the point of watching bowl games when we know players going to opt out? Hey, Florida, 6% of our team didn't even want to go to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Christian McCaffrey one of the first, if not the first, to do this?
Yes.
You are correct. Yes.
And now
he's the first publicized one to do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody's doing it now.
No, I would. He was the first one, but it really didn't start happening until Jalen Suggs decided not to opt out to play in the bowl game, and he got injured.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man, oh man.
That's when they went up to another level.
Yeah, Jay Spivey joining us here on the program as we talk college football.
Jay, good question for you, and I hate to do this. How does Carolina get beat by 2 players?
What are we talking about here?
Tom Brady and Mike Evans.
Talking about the porous job the secondary did in defend, and I guess it's say the pass rush too, in having two bombs from Brady to Evans. 3 bombs. No. The third was the third one was a 30-yard pass, but the other two were 50 or more.
Anybody who watched Carolina and its 14 games this year knows their defense was pathetic this year.
Yes.
So what's surprising about that? Nothing at all surprising about it.
Here's the fun thing about that, Jay. I was intently listening to national media in the build-up to this past Sunday's game. And I'll be doggone, the national media was just saying, well, it looks like the Panthers have a really good defense. Wow, look at what they've done the last month. And I'm thinking, what games have you been watching?
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
They let Mike Evans look like Mike
Evans looked like Jerry Rice. That seriously.
But he's done nothing this season until yesterday.
Right.
Seriously. Tom Brady's looked pretty. Excuse me. It's looked pretty pedestrian up until yesterday, and he looked like a world beater yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious when I say this, man.
Absolutely.
The Panthers secondary made Mike Evans look like Jerry Rice. And I'm like, how in the world?
I mean, how do you not double team him or do something different just to change things up?
And we'll make it even
I'm
more
like,
mind-blowing.
married to this cover zero. I'm like, good Lord. Okay.
And we'll make it more blind. The Panthers had a double-digit lead.
They were up 14-0, couldn't put them away. They kept turning the ball over. They let Mike Evans run free. They didn't touch Tom Brady. Didn't touch him.
They didn't.
And I know Jason Bourne's hurt, but so what? A lot of teams have hurt players right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is just ridiculous. But yet,
it outlines
so many apologists out there. Oh, it's been a great year. No, it's not. You got a losing record.
And it outlines.
And we'll still have a losing record, even if they would have went out.
They should have won yesterday.
They should have.
Yes, that game should have been.
They should have won walking away.
Yeah, and the fact that that defense played a porous fourth quarter. To me, it typifies the whole entire season. And I remember watching that game, and they actually showed a montage of when DJ Moore took off his helmet when he caught the touchdown pass. And
yes, that's exactly right. Yes,
and I was
that sort of changed where they were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that game. They're saying that game, even had they lost yesterday, next week would have meant so much more.
It would have meant more, right?
Mm-hmm. But now they allow Tampa Bay to come back and beat them.
Yeah.
Part one.
And Tampa Bay takes the division.
Again. And part two, I'll go back to what Jay said. They had a chance to put Tampa Bay away several times.
And did.
Oh, and that, having watched the first, I watched, basically the whole game. Up 14-0, they had a chance to put it up easily 21-28 easily. And they did it.
And it wasn't the Bucs defense was doing all of that great.
No.
They were just getting timely turnovers. That was it. Timely turnovers
was killing them.
It was a timely
and Brady was really frustrated in the first half.
Yeah.
And then then they got that long pass to Evans, and it just seemed like it woke him up and just
it woke him up.
And that was that was it. That was it. Yeah.
But I
was shocked.
Did nothing to change anything.
No. I'm like, oh, you all just married to this cover zero, huh? Just married to it. Just man to man. That's what you're gonna do.
And Brady burned him.
I'm like
Brady burned him.
You're talking to possibly the most experienced quarterback that's ever played in the history of the sport, maybe for the exception of George Blanda.
Absolutely.
And you're going to do that
to How
I
many
don't know if
times
y'all
have
saw
I
the
said it?
stat yesterday, but they actually showed Brady has now been in the NFL more than half of his life.
Right.
Yesterday was 3 days past halfway point of his life. So he's actually spent more time in the NFL than he has not spent inside the NFL.
Exactly.
And you never see that, not even for a kicker.
Snowman, how many times have I said it?
Not even
about Tom Brady.
Not even that. Welcome, Big Discussions, big time Michigan fan. Thank you for joining us. The final watcher.
Wonderful season. I forgot to say that. Wonderful season.
Great season for Michigan. Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that.
Is it really a wonderful season for Michigan?
Michigan had a great season, and I'll say it again. Jay and I talked about this during the game on Saturday. Did it seem to you, Jay, that Michigan just got pushed around in that game by TCU?
Especially early on until later in the game. Yes, I would agree with that.
What do you think woke them up? Was it the fact that they were down and they knew they had to throw the ball to stay in the game?
I think everybody sort of looked down at TCU because they did not play. They did not play well in the Big 12 championship game.
And on top of it, to me, and this has not been said, and I'm surprised it hasn't been said all that much. Not saying with us, but just in general. Why was Jim Harbaugh going for it on fourth down? Inside TCU's 5.
I agree.
No, if it's fourth down this early, that early in the game, take the points.
Take the points.
And because he did not do that, I think it was so poetic injustice that happened to be the margin of defeat.
The funny thing about that is. It's
over in college and NFL. Now it's starting to seep into high school.
Yes.
Analytics junk. And who would have ever thought Harbaugh would get into that mess?
Yeah.
Analytics junk. Don't go. Just get the points when you can. Worry about the other stuff later in the game.
And you knew it was going to be. Well, you knew it was going to be a high scoring game because TCU had the second most points average in the Big 12.
Right.
Second most points average in the Big 12.
And I know this played an impact in the game. There's no question about this.
Yep.
Like I told you guys a million times back in college, when the last college basketball season, when Carolina and their fans put so much interest in beating Duke and did not care one bit about beating Kansas in the championship, which to me just boggles my mind, and nobody will ever convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
You could tell that Michigan still had a hangover from beating the snot out of Ohio State.
Yes.
That was a month ago.
That's the issue I have.
That's 2 years in a row, though. Because
But
when they
you
walked into
cannot
the
put all
Orange
your eggs in
Bowl,
one basket.
No, but
Your job is to beat
Nope.
TCU.
No,
It's
but
not.
see-
It's not Ohio State. It's
But
beat
see-
TCU.
But see, Playmaker, this was a bigger deal for Michigan, considering that last year it was in the Big House, this year's in Columbus. But what I don't get, and I agree with you, Jay, what I don't get is how is it that you don't have the program infused into these basketball and football players? Yeah, I know that's our biggest rival we just beat, and it's great. That's a wonderful achievement. But there's a bigger achievement at hand.
Mm-hmm.
See, my thing is this, Cole. Last year when it was in the Big House, you haven't beaten OhioTate ever since Urban Meyer came there. So from Urban Meyer to Ryan, that you haven't beaten them.
Past.
You
That is so
knew.
past. Who
You
cares about
knew
that
going
game?
into the Orange Bowl, you going against a Georgia
mindset should
Bulldog
have been
team.
the semifinals.
Their mindset wasn't on the semifinals. Their mindset was on Ohio State.
Ohio State.
They beat Ohio.
And Georgia
Ohio State.
smoked them.
Just
And
a moment,
Georgia
gentlemen.
smoked them from beginning to finish. So you knew coming in this year, y'all can beat Ohio State, but you know y'all got to make up for what happened last season because y'all walked in the Orange Bowl and got smoked by
That's
Georgia.
just like I just said. Whether it be fans, players, coaches.
Yeah.
When Carolina beat Duke in the Final Four, who cares?
Yeah,
Who
it
cares?
was. Yeah, it was. We beat Duke.
But they didn't. I've
didn't
I've
beat-
got a real good friend who's a Carolina fan. Went to Carolina. He couldn't have cared less that Carolina lost to Kansas. Couldn't have cared, and I just do not understand that.
I don't either.
It's the mindset.
It's
the mindset.
It's we beat Duke.
You reached the national championship, and you don't care whether
Forget
you
the
win or
national
lose?
championship.
No,
Mhm.
it's not.
Forget the
It's
national
not. It's not
championship.
them. It's not them beating Duke. They ended Coach K.
What, hey, guys? What did Herman Edwards always say?
You play to win the game.
Thank
Play to
you.
win the game.
You don't
You
play
play-
to just
you play
show
to-
up in
you
the
play to
national
win the game.
championship.
North Carolina's
Matter
going
of
to hold on
fact-
to the fact that
matter-
they
matter
was
of
the
fact-
ones who ended Coach K's legendary career.
That doesn't matter. Who cares?
You got one. You have
Who
one more
cares?
game after that. Speaking of Herman Edwards, Jay, this one's for you.
You play to win the game.
Thank you.
Period.
Hello.
And you could tell that Michigan was so hungover from beating Ohio State in Columbus that pick six woke up TCU and put Michigan away. It put Michigan away because if you look at the game, even though Michigan's offense woke up, they woke up in this second half. In the second half of the game, they were so far behind, they were not ready for TCU.
No, not at all.
Period. They were not ready for TCU. They were not ready for Max Duggan, who made some fantastic throws in there.
He really did.
Oh, he was. Oh man, he was nails in the pocket.
How come Max Duggan? Let me ask this to Jay, and I'll give Jay the floor. Why did Max Duggan, even though he was invited to New York for the Heisman, why didn't Max get any real consideration for the Heisman Trophy? Even in the rookie plays.
Let me put this mildly. He's about the 8th or 10th favorite school in his own state.
Yeah, I was going to
you
say.
tell me how many national media members care about TCU.
Oh, I could. I've lived. Just like you know North Carolina sports all that very well, Jay.
Mhm.
Lived in Texas for the first 3.5 decades of my life. I can tell you, TCU doesn't even rate as even in the top 5 programs in Texas.
It's all about the Longhorns in Texas.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
Longhorns, then A&M, then maybe Texas Tech,
Maybe
and
Texas
then after that, Katie Bartador.
Mhm.
TCU is now considered top 5 in their own state.
No, not even close.
So what would
And
make
this is the
anybody
first
think
team-
that Max Duggan would actually win the Heisman with that consideration just within their own state?
And he probably should have won the Heisman.
And I
this
think
is
he
the
should have.
first team this is the first team from Texas to reach the college football playoff.
It's the same thing when it comes to NFL. They already gave it to Caleb Williams. USC is back. And it's because of Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley.
And then USC got smoked by Utah.
Oh, no. Oh, well, let me do this correctly, sir. So, yes, USC is back, and then Utah gave him that.
Pretty much, the Heisman Trophy is a regular season award. It's not an overall award. It's a regular season award.
And that should change because there are a couple of players in recent times that won the Heisman that shouldn't have. Caleb Williams being one. You know who else didn't get consideration for the Heisman Trophy because they wanted all quarterbacks? Brock Bowers.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. That's a shame.
And he might be the best player in college football.
Yep.
That's
And
you took the words out of my mouth, Jay.
And now one piece of consideration for Brock Bowers for the Heisman Trophy. Now one.
Now, I'm
he-
gonna pose
yeah.
this because me and Cole
He
talk
helped get
about
Georgia
this.
steady.
I want to talk. Me and Cole talk about this. I want to get Snowman's and Jay thoughts on it because I have sat here and said that the NFL got it wrong by putting the Jaguars and the Titans for Saturday night and not Sunday night.
Yes. What do you guys think about the fact that the last game of the season is the Lions at Packers, not Titans at Jaguars? Since the AFC South is up for grabs and the Titans Jaguars are fair, but just the seventh seed possibly is going to be up for grabs.
This goes back to what NBC controls this, where you guys know this.
Of course.
ESPN, despite putting up billions of dollars for the NFL, is an afterthought with the NFL.
It is.
It just is. So I'm not surprised they did what they did. I'm not the least bit surprised.
Agreed, Ben.
And I mean, and the other thing, it was already kind of predetermined for weeks that game was going to be, was going to have so much importance. So I mean, I guess just go ahead and play that Saturday and be done with it. But NBC controls the schedules, obviously do.
Yes.
I mean, that game last night wasn't even scheduled until last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I'm glad they did,
and they flexed it to Sunday night. Why couldn't they?
Because it was supposed to be the Chargers and Rams last night.
Chargers and Rams. Yep. And
I'm glad they did because we got Chargers Rams.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness they did that.
Why didn't they flip it for Jaguars title for a Sunday night clash for the AFC South title?
But yeah,
I'm not surprised.
But Jay, to your point, and I think Playmaker said it. He was saying that they wanted to have a presence for Saturday, and I'm thinking NFL doesn't need to have a presence for Saturday. I mean, they own Sunday and Monday anyway, so why would they want to have to own Saturday?
Well, that brings me to another point, and I'm sure you guys hear this all the time. When I hear people talking about he's going to be great on Sundays, now how many days is the NFL playing on their schedule during the week?
4.
They're playing Thursday. 4. They're playing Sunday.
Yeah, at least
they're playing
4.
That's just regular.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Saturday games later in the season.
When you get to December, it's Saturday.
I mean, sometimes you got other games during the week. There's probably going to be a Tuesday or Wednesday night package coming up soon.
Yeah,
by the way, when you have Christmas come up, and then when you have Christmas come up, they could have games anywhere around then on any day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year, Christmas fell on Saturday. They played on Friday.
Right.
So it's not just a Sunday schedule.
Mm-mm.
And like you said, Jay, NBC controls this.
They do.
Yeah,
they just flat out do.
Because as soon as the schedule's out, and it normally is about April, maybe early May.
Mm-hmm.
It's about
NBC
April.
is like
April.
Yeah. Hey, I know April's when they had it finalized. I think up until last year, and I think it was at least early May last year for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was to stretch out the all season.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, they want to be. I mean, they want to have a presence 12 months of the year. They do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
And so NBC is looking at that schedule and they say, okay, week 1 we want this game, week 16 we want this game, week 17 we want this game. That's how they are. Yeah, and then when they select it, Fox, Fox and CBS can't say a thing.
Nope.
They can't say anything.
No.
And CBS, when they had the NFC package, controlled everything.
Well, like yesterday.
Yep.
What? Who on earth would have thought that the Packers and Vikings would have been on CBS?
Yeah, because
the AFC channel.
Right. Because
CBS has
CBS has the AFC package, and they're showing an NFC game. With possibly hanging in the
matter of fact, they show both of the games. Usually, because when whoever the road team is, whoever that package is with, gets that station. With the Rams being the road team, they still give it to CBS.
The other thing is that ESPN can call this Monday Night Football all they want. It's not like it was on ABC for years and years and years.
No, it's not.
Not even close.
I mean, y'all remember Monday Night Football was huge. And if they played this game years ago on Monday night, this tonight, Buffalo and Cincinnati, there would have been so much hype for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is a big game tonight. It really is.
It's
I
huge.
mean, look.
It's a huge game. And
we don't have to look any further than when the Dolphins and the Bears played back
That
in
was
85
classic.
December.
The best.
Right.
The best
Yeah.
game ever on Monday night.
The
one of the
hype.
few times my parents let me stay up so I can watch the entire game because we watched the entire game.
Most watch Monday night game by far
ever. And the hype was weeks before that game. Weeks before.
And this was not even with the anticipation of the Bears being undefeated before they went to Miami.
And there was no social media there.
None. And they hyped the hell out of that game.
It was the hype. The hype basically centered around that vaunted defense, the 46 defense led by Buddy Ryan, versus Dan Marino tearing up defenses. That was the hype.
Yep.
And then of course it got bigger and bigger with the undefeated season that the Bears had.
I was 13 years old. Oh, actually, I think I actually might have been 14. Either way, I should have been in bed, but I didn't even care anything about getting any sleep that night. I couldn't wait to watch that game.
Nor did I.
I'm around your age too, bro. I didn't get sleep at all.
Listen, that game minus social media was already hyped the way that it was. I mean, they started hyping that 6 weeks prior.
Yeah.
But who expected the Chicago Bears to be undefeated by the time they went to Miami? That just added to it.
Yeah.
That added to all the hype.
And Miami still being the only team that's been undefeated.
Yep.
That added to it too.
That added another element to it, right?
Given the way that the Bears won their 2 previous games, shut out the Cowboys, shut out the Falcons, 44 against the Cowboys, 36 against Atlanta. Coming into that game against Miami, the hype went through the roof.
Oh, the Bears might have been the best.
You had members of the 72 team on the sideline.
Right, exactly. The Bears might be the best team to ever play in the NFL that one year.
Mm-hmm.
But I almost think that game helped the Bears because after they lost to the Miami, they were just unbeatable. They were unbeatable.
They
weren't
touched.
It helped them year, but I think
even though the Bears surrendered. The Bears surrendered 38 points in that loss and 400 plus yards of offense. Thank you, Dan Marino. It woke them up.
Yeah,
I think it helped them that year, but I think it hurt them long term.
Yes,
because they thought, we're invincible. That was a fluke, and then a lot of teams kept beating them the way that the Dolphins did. Starting in 1986.
To your point, Cole, man, that team should have won a lot more Super Bowls than they did.
Oh gosh, yes. There's no reason they should have only won one. There's no reason they should have only won one.
And I still feel terrible for Walter Payton because he should have scored that touchdown.
Not William Perry.
Not William Perry. No.
Not William Perry. No.
Yeah.
That Bears team from 85 should have led to a dynasty, but they slowly started breaking. They slowly started breaking it up. And the last straw, the very, very last straw came in January of 89 when the Bears hosted the NFC Championship against the 49ers, and the 49ers tore them to shreds.
And I think it started with the with the Charles Barton pile driving of Jim McMahon on the Soldierville turf in 86.
That's part of it. That should have been a dynasty, and they weren't. They just weren't.
Yeah.
But that for that one season, other than the Miami game, nobody was going to beat them.
No.
Nobody was going to beat them.
Nobody was going to touch them. We're out of time. Jay Spivey joining us here on the program as he does every single Monday. Thank you, Jay, so much. We love you. Happy New Year, and have a great day, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Enjoyed it. Have a great week.
You too, brother.
Tomorrow we'll wrap up Monday Night Football. We'll give you the full playoff picture, and we're going to talk more. We're going to talk more college football, and I got a new segment I may unveil. I may have a little fun with it. Till tomorrow, have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move, and always remember, if your dreams don't scare you,
then that means you're taking one of these.
Just like the Braun is.
Yeah, that just
Did I
means
say
your
that
dreams aren't
aloud?
big enough. Yes, you said it aloud.
All right. If your dreams don't scare you, they're just not
They're
big
not
enough.
big
Dream big, do bigger. We are. We hope y'all are too. Happy New Year. We'll see you tomorrow. We're out of here.
Peace.